Again, thank you for having me. This is another part of my series, attacking defensive strategies, movements, and pressures with the front four. Marcus Hilliard, assistant head coach, co-defense coordinator at Virginia Union University. This is my third season there. Just a little bit about myself. I've been coaching now for 16 seasons. Um, Previously, I was at Elizabeth City State University, where I was the defensive coordinator. Both of those are Division II schools in the CIAA conference. So just glad to be up here today, just sharing some of the things that, I believe in and that we do. And we'll get right into it. Again, during this presentation, I know you guys, I'll be tagged, but you can, if you got any questions about anything, give me a shout out on Twitter or you call me and, just love to talk football. All right. So, as in my previous presentation, I talked about preparation as our first thing. You got to be able to be prepared. A team plays the way it meets and practices. Each meeting and practice should be a challenge for self improvement in some phase of defensive knowledge or technique. Just pride ourselves on being able to have our guys prepared, and if they're prepared, we want to get them to a game like tempo as much as possible. So those are the things that I say you want to make sure that you're prepared and you're ready to go. Got some objectives, and I'll just quickly go over those. In order to be successful, you got to prevent the long run, prevent the long passes. No, that's self-explanatory. You got to have a greater consistency in stopping third and long and third and short. You want to give your offense good field position so they can utilize their attack. You want to cause at least 2 fumbles and recover 1. You want to intercept and return for substantial gains. And you want to be able to have one of the toughest goal line defenses in the country. All right. Got some of our defensive team goals. Everybody has to be committed, and these are the things that we're preaching to our guys. I think I stated that in the previous presentation. You want to make sure that everybody's giving maximum effort. You got to be lively at practice. You got to make sure that you involve everybody. You don't want any, even if the guy, might not be as good as your starter or whatever. You want to make sure that everybody's engaged. Just coaching is teaching. You want to make sure that you're able to, the success of a good coach is not the great players that you have, but the players who are mediocre that you make great. And that's one of the things I believe in. And you want everyone to give their maximum effort. You want everybody to do what they're asked to do. And you want everyone to communicate effectively. All right. Got some specific game objectives here for you guys. Like I said previously, you can create whatever game objectives you want. These are some of the things that we do, that we live by, that has helped us be successful. Last season, we went 7-3. The year before, we were 8-2, just narrowly missing the playoffs in both seasons. But I think that with these specific objectives, you have a great chance of winning that game. You want to try to hold your opponents to 13 points or less, hold your opponent to 2.6 yards per carry or less, hold opponent under 250 total yards, no run over 8 yards, no passes over 20, stop 2 out of 3 third down situations, allow no points in the final 2 minutes of the half a game, score or set up a score, did not get penalized, big plays. You want to have at least one of those big play objectives. So we're talking about generating pressure with your front four. Virginia Union with 4-2-5, 4 down front, and really don't blitz a lot. So we just try to do some things up front to try to just simulate some pressure. All right. And this why you stunt or move the defensive line. I know some of you guys, I don't know if you believe in it, but just giving for us, this is just what we believe in. It allows for simulated pressure without actually blitzing. All right, we're able to get some pressure or simulate some pressures without actually having to blitz. It causes disruption and takes advantage of pass pro and pass protection. If you get a bead on, how they're protecting some of these line movements, some of these line games could help that. It could take some advantage of those situations. It's great against the draw. It can disrupt the offensive fits for you. And it can take away any pre-snap determinations. I'm going to show you some of the run game or run game stunt that we have in our package. Some of the disadvantages of the games and the movements. You can stunt yourself out of a play. It's very well possible you want to, sometimes you think you got a bead on it. You can very well stunt yourself out of a play. You may give up some pass rush lane responsibilities. Not great against some personnel, not great against some different personnel groupings and formation. And quick game. All right. When they're trying to run the quick game, you're trying to stun, it won't be as effective. It could be a disadvantage for you. All right. So just talking about fronts in our bench front, we have the bench front is where our 3 tech goes to the boundary. All right, that's how we just call our front. We got a bench and we got a field. All right, bench front just letting us know our 3 technique to the boundary. Our shade, he's to the field. We got 2 5 techs on that. Same thing if it's to the field. You can see the field is opposite now, so the 3 tech is to the field. This should be a shade here. We got him 2 eye, but he'll be to the boundary. So you got your bench and your field front, and that's, while we're explaining that, that's just what we do, and it dictate in some instances who is going and where they're stunned to. So that's why I wanted to mention the field and the bench. It's just a designator for our guys where if we are running some type of game, they know who's going. All right. So right here, we got some of the line movements that we do. Our first movement is our tackle exchange. Like I said, this is good for any run downs where we line up in a 3 in a shade or 3 and 2 eye. And now we show them like a field front. And now they're gap exchanging away. Now from the field tackle goes to that 1, and the boundary tackle goes to a 3. All right, these are good for our run. Any type of run downs where, like I said, we're showing the offense we're showing them one thing, and now we're exchanging right out of it, giving them a different front. And you can do it both ways. You could call it field, or you could call it to the bench, whatever. You call it tackle exchange or whatever you want to call it. But now you can see those guys are doing a gap exchange. We still got our defensive ends continuing to get through their gap assignment. Then we have our slants. Our slants are the same thing. Where we got our slant right. So we might call a bench slant right, or we have those guys just slanting through the opposite gap responsibility on that. All right. So if we got a bench and they're slant right, we got the 5 technique. He's going right through the B gap. That tackle that was in the 3 is going A. And now that other tackle that was in that weak A, now he's going weak B. All right. So you can do your slants. You can see I got the linebacker shuffling over to protect those open gaps on that. All right. So you can go with a slant right, or whatever you want to call it. Or you can go with a slant left. All right. It's just showing you something where you're lining up in the front, and now we can slant those guys through. These are good. Like I said, these are good run stunts or run games, the slant, and tackle exchanges. All right. Then we got the TNT twist, where we twisting with our inside guys, depending on what side we on. So we could go field TNT. We kind of have a designator of how we want to run that. All right. You can put a designator on to let you know who's the stab guy, who's going first, who's stabbing across. and the opposite guy will be working up the field. And once he sees that guy stab, now he's coming right off his butt on the inside. All right. And this is our TNT twist. It can be ran from field or bench. All right. For us, like I said, you will have a designator on who will be going first. The guy that we always say that's going first will be our stab guy. He's stabbing across. I want coaching point on these things is feet placement. If he's stabbing going to the A gap, if you look here on the left, if he's stabbing going to this gap, he wants to make sure he has that right foot back, and now he wants to step right to that gap. All right. We don't want him to have his left foot back because now he will have to gather himself and then pretty much cross over. All right. So in our stances, that's again what I told you guys in a previous video. You want to be able to work the left and the right stance because now when we run our stunts, it's going to dictate for us what foot he should have back, just depending on if he's the stab guy or he's the jab and loop around guy. All right, so you got the TNT twist. You got the TNE strong. All right, if you want to go to strong, what we consider our strong side of the front, our 3 and 5 side is our strong side of our front. So you could go to TNE. T just letting us know he's going first. And E lets us know he's working up the field and coming underneath. On the weak side, they're still going maintaining their gap leverage. So you can go TNE strong. You can go ENT weak. Now when you got the N on the weak side, he's crashing first. E, like I said, the designator. E, just let them know he's going first. The N to the weak side is going first. Now that tackle jabbing and looping underneath. All right. Now, again, coaching point, you can make the name how you want to make it. It's totally up to you. These are just some of the things, some of the pressures, simulated pressures that we use. Again, the focus or the key coaching point is making sure they have the right foot back when they're executing any of these stunts. All right. That's going to be critical. I'm going to show you some drills here in a second, just making sure how they can get to those stunts. But that is critical, making sure they have the right foot back and they're using the correct technique when executing these stunts. Then you got the double TNE. All right, T just letting us know the tackles or the stab guys, they're both going outside first. Then the ends coming underneath, the double TNE. All right, or you got the double N and T. E lets us know what? The N, he's stabbing first. These tackles are now jabbing, going outside. Got the ET slant. All right, remember. And this will be a ET slanting strong to the strong side where you got the N and that tackle. All right, both slanting inside. On that. All right. So we work on drills. Now, again, for us, like I said, we have drills that we want to make sure if we're doing a lot of slanting, we got to work that drill. Again, like I said, we want to be in a great sprinter stance. You look at the first video, you understand what I mean is an great sprinter stance. We in this particular drill, we're just working with slant. So he's slanting to this gap here. So he want to have that foot back and he wants to step right here. And he wants to get big, take that opposite shoulder, rip through that guy, square back up. All right. And that's his aiming point on a slant. His job is just to get through the gap. Now, he didn't do a great job there. He gets stuck, bam. And that's why we use the bag. But you can see he's not bringing his feet with him. That foot has to go along with that shoulder, and he's got to rip through those guys. And we do this a lot because we want to simulate offensive line that those guys are just not going to just let you slant inside. All right. So we want to practice him bringing that foot, staying low, driving that shoulder right through his chest pad, squaring back up. right here. He didn't do a bad job, bam. But on these right here, you can see our guys. And like I said in my first video, we don't show just the good. We want to show you the bad as well. Here you can see he kind of took a lateral step. When you're slanting, you want to step here. You want to step right at your gap. You don't want to step lateral. You want to step right at your gap, and you want to rip with that outside shoulder right up inside. And you can see he kind of stepped lateral, and now he's trying to like he's sneaking in. Same thing, bam. He doesn't do a bad job. But you just want to step, bam. You can see him. He's good here. He wants to bring that good. You can see him trying to rip through here, bam. And he wants to square it up. Again, we work on a one-man sled. It's another drill you can do. You can see the guys. Just want to take it. Step, 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 stepping right there. Give him that slap, ripping right through. Right here, we work on with the pop-ups. We got the slant walk through with the pop-ups. We just want to work the technique of step, step, step. You can see I got him walking through, bam, step, step, get through. All right, some of those guys are standing up. But we just want to work the technique of those guys, just step, 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 get through, step, 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 get through. Now, once we work with the steps, we'll go full speed, step, 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 we slam right into it. Just want to show you a couple clips on that. Now, some of the games we talked about earlier, this was our double ENT. We'll work some pass pro with our offensive line live. So this was our double ENT. If you're the end, bam, you got to know. Let's see if he stepped. We just worked that drill. He's got to attack right through the via the neck of that guy. He's got to attack here. Pass rush keys will change. All right. These guys are going to work up field, press that B gap. Once they see that guy clear, they're going to release and go outside. Same thing here. Work up field, work that A. Once you see that guy clear, now he's going to work for contain. Only thing with that, you want you guys to work more upfield on this drill. All right? Something like that we can do. Now, you don't want to give it away so much. You can see right here, this guy kind of giving it away. You want him to be square. All right? But we got the T&E on just one side, bam. What 66 has to do, he has to work vertical up the field on that. Again, working that slant, getting through. You see those guys taking those steps. You can see right here, this tackle, you want to work up the field more once those guys clear, because we're getting a slant here. He's slanting here. He wants to work up field, sell it more, coming around. All right, this guy's still working through his pass rush responsibility. Let's go to some game film. All right, so show you guys some game film on this. We got the tackle exchange. Again, like I said, this is just creating some pressure with the front four. We got our tackle exchange here. Now, we don't do a great job on this, selling it. We got to sell more up the field. On this, I think this guy is supposed to be the stab guy, so he wants to sell it. He's got a sell coming up, field more, and then once that guy clear, he's got to wrap around. We're able to get pressure or hurry on that one. Right here is the same. The nose and the end. He does a good job of slanting through. We created some pressure on that. You can see in step. He off the ball right away. He should be stepping here. We're able to just get pressure with 4, not blitzing anybody. Able to get pressure with 4 on that. ENT weak. You can see right here, you get a hand up. We go to the end zone. ENT weak. You're going to see this guy just slant inside. Just work that slant drill. ENT weak. Bam. He's able to, the only thing I would tell him on this, make sure he gets his hand up. That nose. Sell him more upfield. We did a good job. Get the pass deflection on that. Same thing, ENT weak on this. We'll watch it from the end zone. But ENT weak. You just got to slant right into this gap, this guy. You'll see it. Right off the ball, good. Now, when the guys get there, just tell them to get their hands up. I tell my guys, make sure to get their hands up. In a good situation. Got the ENT weak on this as well. These 2 guys, slant right there. And they ran the ball, but he slant right to him. Right here, we got slant, the ET slant we just talked about. Those guys are going to just step right inside. ET slant, bam. You got to finish. Do a good job, everybody in. Bam. Now, I know sometimes, what will happen, they fan out. If they step to block them, I will allow those guys to take that inside gap. He can press that gap because you're gonna see right here. He's stepping. You got 2 guys on him. Let's go back. Bam. He's here. So I will allow this guy at times to press through that gap on the slant. Slant right. Do a good job. Now, you can see right here, 99 gets lazy. You can see his foot right here. That he got that back. He's got a slant, and he's got to get here. Everybody's got to get through their gap responsibility. Everybody does a good job at 99. That's how we want to see on that slant. Got another slant right. Good, able to get some pressure. I'm gonna rush 4 guys. Put us in a good situation. We get a slant, another slant here. Now, what happened there, that is not the gap exchange that we talked about earlier. Those guys are just, they kicked it to another front. All right. So it looked like we went with a bench front on that, and we're supposed to get the slant on that. Again, once you're slanting, a coaching point, you don't want that guy to be able to wash you down. That's why we worked on you slanting and now you're getting up the field. You don't want that guy to wash you down on those slants. All right, and it's just some old film that, I had from Elizabeth City. We got our now what happened too, you see how these guys get caught up. I allow those guys to, now he can club and go inside 8, but he still got to rush through his key. All right, because that's going to happen, and sometimes in the protection, you get those guys sliding to you. All right, so it allowed for that guy, if you get those guys sliding to you, you can club and go right inside, but work back to your key on that. Again, like I said, not blitzing, just getting some line movements with our guys. And again, building a championship defense, the measure of a champion is how he deals with adversity. And when he conquers, he gains more than victory. So, again, that was just some pressures that we had, some line movements that we had with our front 4 guys. If you got any questions, got a lot more. Just want to kind of give you some simulation of kind of what we do. But if you got any questions, here's my contact info on this. You can also hit me on Twitter. That's probably the best way at Coach _M Hilliard, HILLIRD on Twitter. This is my office number, my cell. And would love to talk football with you guys, but I appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode. Appreciate it.